Welcome to another episode of The Raw Truth. As always, I'm your host, BXBADBOY, and today I got some things to say, and I want to continue how to survive a nervous breakdown. Enjoy. So today we're going to talk about something that I noticed, and it may sound like a joke, but all the people that we accuse stereotypical as keeping it in the family tend to be Republican. All the people that are causing drama, violence, and threatening people tend to be from out west, where we make the stereotypical type that they do a lot of inbreeding. And it's just funny. They happen to be Republican. And they're all for a racist pig like Donald Trump. I find that funny. And more than coincidence. I guess because Donald Trump keeps it in the family too. And I don't care if people disagree with that opinion. I do. The man wants to fuck his own daughter. He said on numerous occasions, if you weren't my daughter, we be doing it. That's a man who sees an interest in the female that is his daughter. I have nieces. I have sisters. I have a son. Never. And I have brothers. And a mother and grandmother and aunt. And cousins. Whatever. I have family. And not for 1 second did I even think, too bad that's my sister. Too bad that's my mother. Oh man, if you wasn't related to me, I'd tear that ass up. I never thought of that. Ever. Now, I think my sisters are beautiful. I think my mother's beautiful. I think my aunts are. I think even my cousins are. My cousins are turning into beautiful women. But not attracted to them in any way, shape, or form. So whether they were my sister or not, I would have no interest in them, but I would still think they're beautiful. He didn't draw that line in his boy. Hey man, shoot, hey, you is my daughter. We be there. That is ridiculous. So I think he fucks his family. My opinion, he gives enough evidence to convince me I'm right. So it's just convenient that everyone who supports him happens to be Republican, conservative, out west, hillbilly, redneck, inbreeded. The Republicans that are not in those categories, they voted for Trump because he's a Republican. Plain and simple. I could give you a list of probably half those 71 million Americans that voted for Trump. And they are nothing like the other half. But those aren't the ones threatening to kill people, threatening to hurt them, throwing nooses, and all this bullshit that's going on because people are doing their fucking job. I find it a fucking disgrace. It makes America and Americans look like shit. Because as far as the outside world and inside world, that 71 million Americans that voted for Donald Trump are all in the same boat. Whether they're, gonna bang my sister, yeah, or if they're normal like the rest of us. Doesn't matter. They're now lumped up guilty by association. Because they voted for a racist, sexist, egotistical, maniacal, manipulating douchebag. And so did my sisters and my brothers. Oh, we gonna get on. They did too. You know, like the conservative twins. Those rednecks. I don't think it was an accident they're twins. I think fucking with the gene pool. But we're not gonna go there. Right, boys? Anyway, back to the reality. They're all lumped up into it. Guilty by association. I grew up that way. If I was hanging out with somebody committing a crime or doing something wrong, I'm just as guilty. And I was looked upon as such. Whether I was innocent or not was irrelevant. So, yay. Go fuck your sisters. Stay the fuck out of politics, assholes. Because all you motherfuckers care about is getting that fucking douchebag orange cow reelected so he can continue to rape and pillage anyone he disagrees with. His own AG says there was no fraud, and they say he's full of shit. Anyone who says that Trump is full of shit, Trump turns around and says he's full, they're full, fires them. I bet he doesn't have the balls to fire his AG. But I bet you he gonna get cranky about it. So now, I'm done with that topic for today. I'll move on to the other one. Like I said in my previous video, I chose to just say fuck it all. And I've found that to be the most successful way of dealing with things. My son's mother constantly accused me of all kinds of shit. If I would even tell you half the stuff further on that I have already mentioned, most of that's not even a tip of the iceberg of she's accused me of. And most of the time she contradicts herself as she accuses me. I was at my wit's end with her. I was about to go to jail because I was going to lose it and she was going to be the victim. Well, I'm the victim in that situation, but she was going to be dealing with vengeance. And vengeance is a bad motherfucker. The last thing you want to see is vengeance. Trust me. Anyway, so I couldn't keep my shit together. I was always stressed out. My blood pressure was to the fucking roof. Eating was a problem. I never know if I was going to see my son again. And I was so, oh my God. And it hit me. I can't do shit about it. And I revert back to what the judge told me. The judge said to me, verbatim, because I had a problem, the money you give in child support, she's entitled to do whatever she wants with, but he expects that she's going to get him food, clothes, and pay rent with it. And I was like, why am I paying this bitch's rent? And I was flipping out with the judge slightly because, you know, you got to be careful to lock your ass up. So I was pissed off and I'm like, why do I have to pay her rent? That's her job. She ain't paying my rent. And the judge's like, you're paying portion for your son's rent, so he has a home. Now, it never really occurred to me that that made any sense. Because he's in my house, how come no one's helping me with him? Why do I gotta help that bitch? Now, I brought this up several times to the same judge or different judge. And the judge said to me verbatim this. Now, this is the part that probably added to my what the fuck. He said, he's alive, he's healthy, right? Yeah, motherfucker, because I'm taking care of him. Not because she is. He's like, what you mean? I said, I'm the one that makes sure he eats what he's supposed to eat. I'm the one that makes sure he exercises. She spends the money on whatever the hell she wants. He didn't believe me. He didn't want to listen. I'm a male. This is a male-hating state. And I'm not even being a douche about that. The judge, the same douchebag, said to me verbatim from the fucking book. What I mean by book, the book of laws. The law says up until 1986, men had no rights up in this state. Still had to pay child support. Didn't even have a right to see the kid. And in 1986, all of a sudden, they had an epiphany. The father's just as important as the mother. Holy shit. I was just as important in the bed when I made him. I would assume I'm just as important when it comes to raising him. Even if it was a girl. I'm lucky it's a boy. We have a lot more in common. And I won't have to beat up so many people. Men are douche at times. And some. So I'd be busy beating men off with more than just a stick. Because, damn, that's my daughter, fool. Anywho. So, I was like, what the fuck? And then it hit me. Just the same statement that applied to my child support. There's nothing I can do. She can spend it whatever she wants, because it's all about the honor system. Have to assume that she's a good mother. Assume that she's spending where she's supposed to. Can't make those kind of accusations without valid point. Or better yet, with evidence to prove my valid point. So, I was saying to myself, why am I letting this bitch get under my skin? You know what would irk her more? If every time she would talk, I would treat her like, fuck it. Whatever. At the end of the day, she don't control my house. There's a key word in that sentence. My house. But in my mind, I always felt she could take him away like that. Now, before I got joint custody and visitation rights and overnights, she could do just that. Now, at that point, I won't say fuck it all was the way to go. Find a hole to put her in was more the way to go. But after that point, when I got my rights to my child, at that point, I should have done fuck it all. But it was right at the same moment where I was looking for a hole. And it took me some time. I can't tell you how long. But it took me at least a year for me to put fuck it all into practice. I mean, it's easy to preach. It's hard to practice. And I'm not saying that fuck it all is just an easy thing to accomplish. But once you get it, and I mean once you really get it, fuck it all is all you need. And you know what? I'm talking from experience. I'm not just preaching and selling a pillow. Let's not gonna go there. Fucking douchebag. Anyway, so in my experience, once I got to fuck it all, oh my God, did I start to smile again? Now, I'm sure some of you can tell I don't smile. When you look me dead in the face and I'm normal, it looks like I'm angry at all times. My face almost seems frowny. Well, that's just my normal face. I literally ain't doing it. My brain might be doing it because obviously my brain controls my face, and my demeanor shows in my face. But it's not something I'm doing on purpose. It's just me. Now, if you're funny, you will make me laugh. If you're nice, you will make me smile. If you're a douchebag bitch that gets pregnant and runs away at 6 months when she shouldn't have left at all, you're not going to make me smile. You're going to make me hunt you down. But we're not going to go there. Anyway, I digress. So, once I got to that pinnacle of understanding fuck it all, it was like that to implement it. And I never had a problem again. Now, let me be clear. Didn't say I didn't have any problems, but had no problem using fuck it all when it was needed. Because there's moments where fuck it all needs to be put to the side and knuckles need to come out. Now, there have been many days I had to knuckle up. But when before fuck it all, I was knuckling up every conversation. Every. It was like fighting Mike Tyson forever. Excuse me, forever. And every time you swing, you get a hit in, but every time he swings back, bah, bah, you feel like you've been hit by a freight train. And not to say that she was stronger than me, or she could hit better than me, but I let the things she was doing punch me like Mike Tyson, which was my fault. And that's where fuck it all comes in. You're a horrible father. My son doesn't think so. What the fuck do I care what you think? You're a bum. You ain't trying to date me. You ain't trying to fuck me. Why do I care what you're doing? And I ain't trying to date you, and I ain't trying to fuck you. So why do I care what you say? You're stupid. Okay. We know which one is stupid. So why bother? Now, this is part of the reason where I came up with my rules. Now, if you see any of my previous videos, I'll put a link here for my 10 commandments. Now, yes, it was sarcastic 10 commandments, but might as well. I don't have to prove I'm right to be right. Whether I'm right or not does not change by proving it to someone else. So, once I realized that, and I took that into heart, the same with fuck it all, it made it so much easier to walk away from an argument, walk away from a conversation, ignore her. I was at my text message like a dope fiend, constantly responding right away. Second, doesn't matter what I was doing, if I was driving, running, taking a shower, I was hitting that text message, making sure the conversation was fluent. Why? It didn't improve anything. In my mind, it was stopping her from bitching. Oh, why you ignoring me? Thought you love your son. And the reason why I even bring that up is because she's done it. And I'm like, why am I concerned about impressing this bitch? Now, she's stupider than doornails sometimes. I know this. And those of you who know her, or know the situation, or listen to previous audios and videos, know it. She's dumber than shoe leather. So why am I letting this anger build up and come out? Now, I'll be clear. I never took it out on my son. Anytime I've ever taken out my anger on my child, it's for my child. I ain't that type of person that if you make me angry, I make that person's life a living hell. Unless they did something, and then I take out the proper amount of anger towards that person and that thing, not based on an argument you and I had. I don't know how I could develop that ability, because everybody keeps telling me, don't take it out on your boy. I ain't. Oh, why you yelling at me like that? Because I'm getting sick and tired of him doing that shit. Ain't got nothing to do with you, bitch. Oh, whatever. No. Very simple. I will not curse you out because she made me angry, because he made me angry, because they did. If I curse you out, it's because you made me angry. Plain and simple. Ain't no way to sugarcoat it. Now, if you don't make me angry, I ain't gonna curse you out. Just simple. Fuck it all. Right? And it made my life so much easier with those 3 little steps. 1, fuck it all. Realizing it and making it into fruition. I am not here to be impressing nobody. Number 2. Number 3. I don't have to prove I'm right to be right. So fuck it all. And at the end of the day, Your opinion is important because I let it be important. Because I accept its importance. But if I don't want to, I don't have to. So, for those of you who don't have the balls to comment on my videos, because you either got something stupid to say and don't want to get into a fight with me, because you think I might hunt you down and bury you in the backwoods, or just a bunch of cowards, whatever the case may be. I don't need to accept what you say as fact just because you say it. You know, it's one of those things Donald Trump can't get through his thick skull, neither could the Republican Party. Just because you say it, that don't make it so. Especially when you got no evidence to back that shit up. Dumbass. I'm blunt, honest, and to the point. I don't got time for this little kind of game. Like, you know. No. It's this. Fuck you. The horse you rode in on. And its mother that gave birth to it. That simple. Now, if we're friends, and you ain't on some stupid bullshit, I'm the complete opposite. The blood that flows in these veins will spill on the floor for you. But if you're my enemy, the blood in these veins will rip out your heart and feed it to you. It's that simple. There is no in between. You can't slap me, piss my elf, and I'm like, hey, gone, dang, dang, no, it's all wrong. No. If you push me to the point where I have to decide where to bury you, it's too late. I'm going all in. If you convince me to love and care for you, shit, I'm all in. It's up to you. The only person you got to blame if you end up in a hole is yourself. Oh, you can blame the shovel, but I don't blame inanimate objects. I ain't afraid to be wrong. I ain't ashamed of it. I ain't afraid to face it. But it doesn't mean it's going to be easy to prove me wrong. But I'm more than welcome to accept being wrong. Now, in my very opinion, you can't really say my opinion is wrong. You can only say my opinion, a little harsh. But I'll tell you this, I don't care. I'd rather be harsh and win than be puppy and lose. And what I mean by that, not in a traditional sense, always gotta be number one. Fuck number one. Okay? Number one ain't nothing but a dick. And the reason why I say that, because number one is taking a piss. Yeah, I know women pee too. But it's not as funny, but guess we call them dicks and pussies. But I don't care. You know, I grew up, oh, gotta be number one, gotta be number one. No. I just gotta kick your ass. That's all that matters. Because you know what? You win a race, you got me that day. Maybe next time I'll get you. I get you that race. Maybe next time you'll get me. But it's not the end of the world. You know what the end of the world is? When your son tells you to your face, legitimately, mind you, I hate you. You ain't shit. That's at the end of this. That's all that matters. I don't care if my son's mother or if I had a wife, I wouldn't kick it. Don't care. See, my son didn't have an opinion, didn't have a thought, that I and his mother and the world didn't give him. And what I mean by that is we raised him. More me. But if he turns around and tells me, after all I've done, I ain't shit, damn. That's low. Now, a wife, a girlfriend, she's already, fucked in the bucket. So her opinion is pointless in that aspect because she's already set in her ways, as it would be said. But the child, he's not set. And if he can realize you're a douche, damn, it's like being stabbed with your own knife. And essentially it is, since I created that knife. Now, my son's never told me anything that other than, the normal temper tantrum. I hate you. You don't love me. I can't tell you how many children said that shit. But on a normal basis, when the child is being normal, or he isn't emotional, angry, or disappointed he ain't getting his way, he's never told me he hated me. He never told me I was a bad dad. I think I am. I think what I choose to do to keep my child safe makes me a bad father. Because it forces me to hurt him. One way or another. In my eyes, if my child gets a prick in his finger because of me, I'm the worst person alive. Even if it's justified. Because I cannot stand hurting him for any reason. Even when I scold him because he did something wrong, and I send him to his room, or I take away his PlayStation, that irks. It hurts. I just want him to be happy, but I want him to behave. So, I have to swallow my soul and be the devil. Since I'm the only one. So, with those points of view, all three of them, it makes it so much easier to just go, wow, fuck it. And before anyone decides to make any judgments on, what do you know, what kind of meltdown have you had? I'll tell you a secret. I have a secret book in my head. You ever seen that movie, 1,000 Ways to Die in the West? I've done more than quadruple that. So, I know what it's like to be pushed to the point where you fantasize in most vivid detail, ripping someone from limb. Vivid detail of wanting to be ripped limb from limb. Hoping that some drunk driver would hop the fucking curb, plow through my freaking room door, and run me the fuck over. I know, far-fetched. I've been driven to the point where I put on 60 pounds. I was in a self-deluded depression. And why I say self-deluded is because I let that bitch do it. Because at the end of the fucking day, she doesn't fucking matter. None of them did. And what I mean by none of them did, all the girls that have taken their time, and believe me, some have taken their time, to hurt me, to abuse me, to neglect me, to put me through the ringer, as it were. It wasn't worth it. It didn't matter. I look back at one girl who damn near got me to commit suicide, or at least try. It didn't matter. At the time it did. My brain's like, what? Die. Yeah, sounds like a good idea. And then I came up with this conclusion. I brought it up in the last video and I'm going to do it again. I'm not the math that needs to be removed from this equation. Now, you can take this as you want. But if in a mathematical equation there's a variable that does not belong, it must be eliminated. Now, you can take that as you like, but I realized I'm not the problem. The problem is the problem, and the person causing the problem. Everybody tells me, oh, you like to argue. No, I'm just good at it. I will not argue with you unless you argue with me. And what I mean by that is, I'm not going to back down. I'm not one of those guys, oh my god, okay. I don't give a fuck who you are. Now, if I respect you enough, I will agree to disagree. Or say, well, we'll see. If you're right, you're right. If you're wrong, you're wrong. I gotta have a great deal of respect for you to do that. And there's not many, but there's a few. But if you don't argue with me and say something stupid, come out your face, in an argument, I ain't gonna come out my face to you. Now, let me be very clear. That doesn't include my brother or my father, or in some cases, my son's mother. Those three individuals get special treatment. So, with that being said, I won't flip out and call you everything under the sun necessarily and go vulgar to the extreme unless you push me. With those other three, vulgar is almost a requisite of a conversation with them. But there's only one person that really drives me nuts, that will get me to yell almost by saying hello. And that's my father. My father can get under my skin like, I don't even know what to just give as an example. Like bleach. And I'd love nothing more than to grab him by his ankles and beat a bongo with him. I don't know what it is about the man. I don't know if it's because of childhood shit, because my argument and hatred when I get angry with him, I don't imagine what he did to me as a kid. I imagine what he just did, or what he did yesterday or a week ago. Because most of the stuff I flip out about with him is the same shit every single time. You would think I would learn by now. I have, don't get me wrong, I used to punch the wall. God forbid if you come into this house and see the wall. Whew. It looks like I was trying to build a trench in the wall. And that was so I didn't build a trench in his spine. I haven't punched a wall in quite some time. Because you know what? Not that I can't afford to fix it, or don't know how to fix it. No. Okay, no I don't. I know how, but I need help. I'm not good with drywall. Make it out of wood, metal, I'm with you. Drywall, fuck you. Anyway, I learned after the 10,000th punch in the wall, it wasn't working. And what I mean by it wasn't working, yeah, it would stop me from rearranging his body parts. But it wasn't solving the reason why I was going to rearrange his body parts. And then I said to myself, you can do this to your son's mother. You can do this to your father. What I mean is, fuck it all. I would walk away now. Hang up on him, slam the door, just ignore him. Now, it doesn't always work. Sometimes it gets in there, man, like a fucking tick. But, for the most part, just walk away. I've been told to do that for years, and I never was able to. I could never walk away. I had to reach into your heart, pull it out, let you see it beat as I beat the fuck out of it. And I'm like, really? Wow, you did this to yourself. I was just like everyone else, trying to find someone to blame. And the whole time, I should have just been blaming me, because it was me. It wasn't them. Because I let it get that far. You can't make me say what you want me to say, unless I actually do it. I'm not a puppet. So, with all these learning experiences, I figured out how to be somewhat happy, or less angry, better yet, because I am far from happy. I'm far from happy, but I'm also so far from angry on a regular basis. Now it takes a great deal to upset me, even for my son's mother. This is the same woman who accused me in court of abusing our child with no proof. I don't think she's been able to prove one of her cases against me since day one, because it was all a lie. Who does she remind me of? Oh, that's right, Donald Dump. So, step one, find you a nice, juicy pill of Fuckatol. Now, once you find Fuckatol, you have to take it. After taking it for a certain period of time, I give it 2 weeks of taking Fuckatol every day, or every time you get in a situation, I guarantee, take your medicine, you'll get better. Promise. Work for me. Work for you other people. Work for you too. Just don't be fucking with your sister. That's step one. You have to find Fuckatol. Now, let me be very clear. Fuckatol is different for everyone. But once you find it, and I mean you gotta dig sometimes, but once you find it, you start taking your regimen, you will go, wow, he was so right. Now, I don't want any credit. You'll find out that you could have done this the whole time, and all that anxiety and stress. Go, oh, did you hear that? That one's over there funny. I don't care who you are, that right there is funny. So that's step one. Find your Fuckatol. Okay? Now, some people say find your happy place. Yeah, cornball. But that's not Fuckatol. Happy place is where you go to ignore the situation. My happy place, my happy place, my happy place, my happy place. Now, if that works for some, yay. I believe that's a temporary effect. Because once you're no longer doing this, you're fucked. Because once you go, ooh, look, it's daytime. Now you have to go back into the shit. But fuck it all, you can do completely conscious and directly in the middle of the argument. While a person, even your own mother or father, wife, boyfriend, husband, sister, cousin, friend, calling you scumbag, douchebag, go fuck yourself, blah, blah, blah. You go, take your pill. and you can look them dead in the face as they're flipping out and say just this: thank you. Have a good night. Have a good day. Great wishes on to you and yours. I know it sounds like sarcasm, and it is, because you don't care if they're having a good day or not. Not that you wouldn't care, but you don't care either way. But doesn't matter. As they're flipping out, my brother's done this 1,000 times, and I tell him, have a good night, have a good day, thank you for your service, good night, good night. Done it to my father. Good night, have a good one. Get. I got shit to do. Good night. Groggy. And it works. Now, I'm not going to act like it's going to work overnight. It may. Each situation, each fuck it all, is different. But as they're cursing you out and talking bad about you, thank them. Oh my God. Put yourself in their shoes. You cursing them out, calling them names, and then you turn around and hear them say, thank you. Oh, that'd drive you bonkers. Now wouldn't it? So imagine what it'd do to them. My God. There's an old saying, and I hate to be a cornball. Nah, I don't. But you get more with honey than you do with vinegar. And the truth behind that is, thank you. Thank you, ma'am, may I have another? And I revert back to my childhood. And I should have put it into practice on everything. But it was easier to do this for this situation than the rest. Your mom's a slut. That's her problem. What's it got to do with me? Her being a slut don't change nothing about me. That's her problem. When the cops come, they coming for my mother, not me. Oh, your mom's a whore. Oh, well, you gotta make money somehow. Pisses them the fuck off. I can't tell you how many fistfights I got into just by saying, not my problem. That's her problem. Fuck do I care? Now, don't get me wrong. It's had a greater impact in a different direction. Ah, your mom's a bitch. Okay. I know. And they start laughing their ass off. Like, did you just call your own mother a bitch? I guess so. And then they start laughing. And I've diffused many arguments and fights in my youth with that stupid ass tactic. Because the truth is, they don't know my mother. Shit, I barely knew her. I was a child. I barely knew who the fuck I was. So, it made many, many people laugh, including the antagonizer. Now, like I said, I got into many fights over it, and it is what it is. It gonna happen. But at the end of the day, it's a fight. You ain't gonna be mad, you ain't gonna be stressed out. You might got bruises. But other people are like, wow, he did the do. Ding, 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 ding. So, you fight, you win or lose, you'll still get respect because you stood up and fought and defended yourself. And you'll feel better about yourself. And you'll feel better about a lot of shit because you're not all emotional. Like, oh my God, he said my mom was a whore. Really? That's as stupid as me saying that shirt's blue and you're wearing a red one. It's red, not blue. So why would you get upset that I said it was something it wasn't? You know what your parents is. You know what you are. There's an old saying, it's called self-esteem. Hello? That's how you feel about you. Not how the fuck I feel about you. Just remember that. If you let my opinion change your self-esteem, then you never felt the way you thought you did about yourself. Dang, as you do me. I tell my son this every day. When you look in the mirror, boy, are you happy with what you see? Then fuck what other people think. But Daddy, that's Mommy. I don't give a fuck if it's Jesus. If you are happy with the person you see in that mirror, what the fuck does it matter what the other person thinks? Chalk that up to fucking tall. But at the end of the day, you are alone with you and what you are and what you ain't. So what other people say ain't shit. And if you gotta concede, is that the word? If you have to change who you are to get accepted by them, then who the fuck are you? Because you ain't you. Now, let me be clear. That doesn't mean if you're a bully, stay a bully. Be you. I'm talking about the kind of person you are in here. Now, if you're a bully, you need to change. Because if I catch you, I'm going to show you a bully. Because I'll tear that ass up like a fried chicken wing. My point is this. If you have to change who you are, then you'll never be you. So then who are you? And you can no longer say I, because you aren't you. It's that simple. Now, is it that simple to accomplish? Sorry. Yes. I believe so, I know so, and I am so. I used to do it. I ain't God. I used to change who I was to suit my situation. If I wanted black friends, I acted ghetto. If I wanted white friends, I thought I need. And I ignored my roots. Okay? Now, it did have a good effect. And I'll tell you this. I am a chameleon. Blackbird there. But I use it properly. And what I mean by that, if I walk into a business meeting, I'm all business. The cursing and the slang stay at home. But when I'm at home and I'm with my fellas, doesn't matter what area they're from or what color they are, I am me. Straight to the core. However I feel. Kind of like I've been in this conversation. I feel like I ain't country and redneckish. There I go. If I don't, then I don't. People like, where you from? Born and raised in the Bronx. And how come you ain't got a New York accent? I don't have a particular accent. I have my accent. It literally has a label on it. It says mine. Because I took all the accents I ever experienced in my measly years and I combined them into a sound I liked. I like repeating things, almost like a parrot. I used to want to be, what's those guys? Impersonation. I wanted to be impersonator. I didn't want to be a person, but I wanted to impersonate them. So I used to practice making sounds, Australian, Italian, forget about it. Anything that seemed fun. So eventually, I developed my own accent. Now, yes, They'll still say I'm white. I don't care. I am white-ish. But my accent is something I just developed with all my experience. I found all these things work like a charm. If you take the time and listen to this over and over again, you'll hear my instructions and you'll see what I say is true, but no, it isn't as easy as I did it. And then, for some, this is as easy as it is. It's up to you how much you put into it. And I'll tell you, it wasn't that easy for me. I didn't just wake up one morning and go, fuck it. And then every day was a heaven. It took time for fuck it all to take effect. In some cases, a lot of time. Fine, 35 years. When I was 34, 35, true fuck it all took its place. I had my moments where I just didn't give a fuck. Because at the end of the day, I don't. You don't like me? I'll show you where the door is. Matter of fact, don't come through it. You don't like me? Have a good day. You like me? Hello. But to truly be able to absorb fuck it all for myself, because no one told me. I actually got it from a silly meme before memes were the thing. And I think I brought up in my last video about how to survive. The meme said FUKTOL or ITOL, and it had a pharmacy advertisement to it, and a pill, and on the pill it had a line across it, you know, like it's one of those capsules, and it said FUKITOL, and it had, you know, instructions like every other pharmaceutical commercial or billboard. And I thought it was the funniest shit at the time. And I did my best to actually take that advice. I tried to implement it. And I'll say I found that maybe when I was 25. Don't quote me on that though. And it took me 10 years, if I'm correct at 25. It took me 10 years to put that into serious implement. And now that I'm 41, turning 42, it's worked wonders. I just wish I knew what I knew now in hindsight. But maybe I can help you find your fuck it all. And maybe you can take your proper dosage. And maybe you can find your way to some kind of peace. And some kind of happiness with your life and the things that go on in it. On that note, before I start crying, it's 12:02 a.m. I'm gonna go smoke a cigarette, my last one, I hope, and then I'm gonna go to bed. Please like and subscribe, or dislike, comment, let me know what you thought. Let me know if you had anything to add. And I wish you the same luck I've received from this. And Donald Trump, go fuck yourself. Peace.